The same green Dressana de Armas stood still in front of the mirror in her hotel room, holding the green dress in her hands. The room was quiet, but her thoughts were loud. Outside, the sky over Los Angeles was bright and golden, the kind of light people dream about. But inside her heart, there was a quiet storm. She had worn this dress once before, 2 weeks ago, at the European premiere. And now, as the Hollywood premiere of the same film approached, this was the only dress she had. Stylists had canceled. A shipment of gowns was delayed. Her assistant had tried, but it was too late. Anna had money, of course. She had fame. But what she didn't have that day was a choice. She stared at her reflection. She still looked beautiful, but something inside her was trembling. What if people noticed? What if the tabloids said she had run out of ideas? Or worse, that she was lazy? That she didn't care anymore? Anna lowered her head and whispered to herself, "They won't see the story behind the dress. They'll just see me repeating myself." The knock on the door came gently. It was Keanu Reeves. "You ready?" he asked through the door. Anna didn't answer for a few seconds. Then she opened it slowly. Keanu looked at her, eyes kind as always, dressed in a quiet black suit. Then he noticed the green dress in her hand. She hadn't even put it on yet. "What's wrong?" he asked, stepping inside gently. Anna bit her lower lip, trying to smile. "I wore this before," and he asked, "and people remember, especially when it comes to women. They notice everything." Keanu was silent for a moment. Then he walked over, took the dress from her gently, held it up like it was a piece of art, and said with a soft smile, "This isn't just a dress. It's a memory. And more than that, it's your color." Anna's eyes welled up. She looked at him, and for the first time that day she didn't feel small. She felt seen. "You think so?" she asked softly. "I know so," Keanu said. "Tonight, you're not wearing this dress again. You're reminding the world who you are." Anna smiled through her tears. And just like that, she wore the same dress twice but walked out feeling like it was the first time. But the story didn't end there, because what happened on that red carpet would change everything. The premiere was packed. Lights flashed from every direction. Fans shouted from behind barriers, holding signs, phones, and posters. Cameras were everywhere. Anna stepped out of the car with Keanu beside her. She smiled gently, unsure at first, but then the crowd gasped, not because of the dress, but because of the way. Keanu Reeves looked at her. He didn't pose for the cameras. He didn't wave too much. He just looked at her with respect, pride, a calm strength. And that one look silenced every whisper before it could begin. As they walked the carpet, someone from a fashion outlet shouted, "Anna, is that the same dress from Berlin?" Anna could answer. Keanu turned to them and said, "Yes. And she wears it better this time. It's grown with her." The reporter blinked, unsure what to say. Anna's hand found Keanu's. She squeezed it gently. But behind the scenes, others were watching. Not everyone was kind. In a studio boardroom across town, a producer named Ryan Mason stared at the screen. Eyes narrowing. She wore the same dress. Again, that's going to get headlines. And not the kind we want. Another voice in the room said, "But look at the engagement online. People are calling it brave, honest, even iconic." Ryan leaned back in his chair. "Maybe. Or maybe it's a sign she's too soft. We need someone with edge. Why, someone who's always one step ahead." He didn't say it out loud. "God." But the idea was already forming. Anna might not be the studio's first choice for the next film. And when the next week came, she'd feel the weight of that decision days later. Anna sat on the rooftop of her apartment building alone. She held a tablet in her hands. Scrolling through headlines, Anna repeats Dress But Wins Hearts. Keanu stands by co-star in quiet. Moment of support. But then came the cruel ones. Recycled fashion or just lazy? Ana de Armas stuck in style loop? Anna turned off the screen and stared at the sky. The same golden light, the same city, but now it felt different. "Why does it hurt?" she whispered. The door behind her creaked open. "Because you care," Keanu said. She turned. He held 2 cups of coffee. One for her. One for him. He sat beside her, quiet as ever. Anna looked at him and said, "I thought it would be brave. But it feels like a mistake. People don't always see the whole story," he said. "They only see what they want. But you know your heart, and that's what matters." "What if that's not enough anymore?" Anna asked. Keanu took a slow sip of coffee, then looked at her. "Then I'll remind you," he said gently, "till you remember it for yourself." Anna didn't say anything, but her eyes softened. The sun kept sinking lower, and somewhere in the silence, she felt something shift. This wasn't just about a dress anymore. It was about how the world measured worth and how one person's quiet. Support could change the way you saw yourself, but what neither of them knew was that the next script Anna would be offered would come with a cost, A cost that would test not only her strength but Keanu's promise, and what came next would leave the world speechless. The script with a cost a week passed. The internet calmed down. The noise faded. People moved on to the next story. The same voices who once criticized Anna were now praising her bravery. Why? But inside, Anna was still wrestling with the silence that followed. She was waiting for her next role. Waiting for something that would prove she still mattered in the eyes of the people who made decisions behind closed doors. Then one morning her phone buzzed. It was her agent, Maya. "You need to come in," Maya said. "Now." Anna arrived at the agency office quickly. Maya handed her a script, her hands trembling a little. "This came from Ryan Mason's office," Maya said. "He's doing a new film with a huge budget. They want you for the lead." Yana blinked. "Me," Maya nodded. "You, but what?" Yana asked. Maya didn't speak for a moment. Then she turned the script around. Revealing the cover, title, "The Hunted Bridiana," frowned. She had heard about this project, a big, gritty action film set in a post-war world. The lead character was supposed to be tough, raw, angry, someone haunted, and violent. Everything Anna wastened, she opened the first few pages. The first scene had her character spitting blood. The second had her holding a weapon to a child's face. "This doesn't feel right," Anna whispered. "Double quotes, I know," Maya said. "But it's Ryan's way of testing you. He wants to see if you'll break out of the soft image people have of you." Anna closed the script. "So he thinks kindness is weakness?" she asked. Maya didn't reply. Anna stood, took the script, and left the office. She didn't say a word until she got home. Then she called Keanu. He answered on the second ring. "I got a role," she said. He could hear something in her voice. "And," he asked, "they want me to become someone else. Someone angry. Someone cold." Keanu was quiet for a moment. Then he said softly, "Is that who you are?" Anna sat down on the edge of her bed. "No, and don't trade your truth for their approval," Keanu said. "You don't have to become what they expect, just to stay visible." Anna closed her eyes. "But what if I disappear?" "Then let it happen," Keanu replied. "If fading means keeping your soul, then maybe that's not a loss." Anna didn't answer. Her fingers held the script tightly. She thought about all the roles she had played. About the little girl in Cuba who dreamed of lights and cameras. She thought about the kindness she always tried to keep, even in a world that didn't value it. The next morning, she walked into Ryan Mason's office. He didn't smile. "So, ready to bleed on screen?" he asked. Anna placed the script on his desk. "I'm not your hunted bride," she said calmly. Ryan raised his brows. "You're walking away from a 7-figure offer?" "I'm walking toward who I really am," she said. He leaned back, amused. "You think that'll keep you in the game?" "I think the right story will find me," she replied. "Maybe not in this town," he said coldly. Anna turned and walked away. As she closed the door, her heart pounded, but it was steady. She had said no, but the world outside didn't reward quiet strength. Soon, the media began to whisper again. Ana de Armas passes on high-profile role too soft for action. Sources say Keanu's kindness influenced making her too emotional to lead big films. Then it got worse. A leaked memo. Someone from Ryan's office shared an email. She looked nice in the green dress. But Hollywood doesn't run on nice. The word spread fast. Keanu called her that night. "You okay?" he asked. Anna stared out her window. "They think I'm soft," she said. "They don't understand softness is a strength," he replied. "But maybe they're right," she whispered. Keanu didn't rush to argue. He just breathed. "I want to show you something," he said. "Meet me tomorrow." The next morning, Anna met him at a small school on the edge of the city. "What is this place?" she asked. "A school for kids in foster care," Keanu said. "They invited me to speak. I asked if you could come too." Anna was confused, but nodded. Inside, they met 25 children, most between ages 6 and 12. They clapped when Keanu walked in, but their eyes lit up when they saw Anna. "You're the green dress lady," one little girl shouted. Anna's eyes widened. Keanu smiled. "Guess your kindness is louder than you think." They sat with the children, told them stories, read them books, listened to their fears and dreams. At one point, a little girl named Lucy tugged on Anna's sleeve. "You wore the same dress again?" she said. "That's brave. My mom used to say being real is better than being rich." Anna crouched down. "Your mom sounds wise," she said softly. Lucy nodded. "You look like her." Anna smiled, blinking away tears. And in that moment, everything made sense. The dress, the roles, the rejection, the noise. She had forgotten who she was trying to impress. As they left the school, Anna looked at Keanu. "You knew this would help," she said. Double quotes. "No," he replied. "I just hoped." "How do you always stay so calm?" she asked. Keanu looked at the sky. "I don't. I just remember what matters." Keanu nodded. She wasn't sure what the future would bring, but for the first time in weeks, she didn't feel afraid. But what she didn't know was that someone had seen her that day, someone unexpected, and the next call she received would open a door she never knew existed, a role unlike anything she imagined, and this time, the world would see the dress again, not for what it was, but for what it had become. The director with different eyes. 3 days later. Anna's phone rang while she was making tea. The name on the screen was unfamiliar. "Hello?" she answered carefully. A woman's voice came through, warm but strong. "Hi, Anna. My name is Olivia. Chen. I'm a director. I saw what you did at the foster school with Keanu." Anna paused. "How did you see that?" One of the teachers shared a short clip. It went around quietly. "No big press. But I saw you. I saw how you listened to the children. It's how you held space for them. And I saw the green dress." Anna felt her heart speed up. Double quotes. "I want to talk to you about a role," Olivia said. Anna sat down slowly. "What kind of role?" "Something honest, something kind, something only you could carry." 2 days later, they met in a small, quiet cafe, tucked away in the hills. No agents, no assistants. Just Anna and Olivia, sitting at a table near the window. With sunlight pouring in, Olivia slid a thin script across the table. Title, "Quiet River." "It's about a woman," Olivia said, "who leaves fame behind to care for her sick mother. She moves back to a small town where no one remembers who she was. At first, she feels lost, invisible. But slowly, she starts to heal the town, one person at a time." Anna flipped through the pages. The scenes were slow, real, emotional. "There's a moment," Olivia said, "where the woman wears her mother's old dress to a town fair. Everyone notices. Some whisper, some laugh. But one child comes up and says, 'You look like home,' and everything changes." Anna looked up. Her eyes were soft. "Will there be pressure to change the story?" she asked. "To make it louder, bigger?" "No," Olivia said. "The world's already loud. We need quiet stories now." Anna looked at her hands. Then she asked, "Why me?" Olivia smiled. "Because you wore the same dress twice and made the world feel something." Anna smiled too. "I'll do it." Filming began 1 month later in a small riverside town 2 hours north of Vancouver. There were no paparazzi, no flashing lights, just misty mornings, wooden cabins, and simple people. Anna lived in a little rented home near the water. Every morning, she walked to set with a cup of tea in hand. Wearing slippers and no makeup, it felt like peace. Keanu visited once during the third week of shooting. He sat quietly behind the monitors, watching her perform a scene where her character teaches an elderly man how to read again. When the scene ended, Keanu didn't speak. He just placed a hand on Olivia's shoulder. "Thank you," he said, "for seeing her." Anna walked over during lunch and sat beside him on a bench overlooking the river. "How does it feel?" he asked. "Like breathing," she whispered. Then, "Don't forget this feeling," he said. "No matter what happens next." The movie finished filming in 7 weeks. No one expected it to make noise. But when it premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival, something happened. It didn't explode. It bloomed. Audiences cried. Strangers hugged each other in the lobby. Critics wrote reviews that felt like poems. One headline read, "Ana de Armas teaches us the power of stillness." Another simply said, "She wore her soul, and we saw it."
Oh.
And at the very end of the credits, there was a dedication for those who were told quiet is weakness. Anna stood in the back of the theater that night, hands shaking, eyes wet. When the lights came back on, people gave a long, silent standing ovation. Keanu was there too. He didn't clap loudly. He just looked at her, shining, and whispered, "I told you, it's your color." The next morning, the internet was buzzing again, but this time, not about the green dress. It was about Quiet River. One video clip went viral. It showed Anna's character in a scene standing under the rain, wearing a simple dress, arms open, smiling up at the sky. Someone captioned it, "She's not acting. She's remembering who she is." Suddenly, Anna's name was everywhere again. But not for gossip. Not for drama, this time. For healing still, the world is never all kind. A message came from a major streaming platform. They wanted to buy Quiet River and turn it into a series, but only under one condition. "We want to recast." The lead, the executive, said on the call, "She's too gentle for episode formats, not sharp enough. We need someone with edge." Anna heard the words and waited. Olivia, sitting beside her, didn't say a word. Then Keanu, on speaker, said quietly, "Maybe edge is the problem." Silence. Anna leaned forward and said, "No deal." She didn't look back. Later that night, Anna and Keanu walked down a quiet path by the river. She wore the green dress again. Not for a premiere, not for a statement, just because she wanted to. "What if I always play these roles?" she asked softly. "The ones people call slow, small, soft." "Then the world will be better for it," Keanu said. She smiled. But just as they turned the corner, they saw someone waiting near a bench, a man in a suit. He stepped forward. "Miss Anna," he said, "I have a letter for you. It's from someone you helped years ago." Anna frowned and opened the envelope. She read the first line, and her knees nearly buckled, because it wasn't just from someone she helped. It was from someone she had forgotten, but who had never forgotten her, and what came next would reveal a past she thought was long gone. The forgotten letter. Anna held the letter in her hands, the paper soft and slightly aged. Her fingers trembled as she unfolded it slowly. Keanu stood beside her in silence, watching her face shift from confusion to disbelief. The letter began, "Dear Anna, you probably don't remember me, but you changed my life years ago. I was a wardrobe intern on your first film. No one saw me. No one even spoke to me. I was invisible until you asked my name and thanked me for ironing your dress." Anna's breath caught. "You told me kindness was never wasted." I wrote those words on a Post-it and kept it in my wallet. When I wanted to quit the industry, those words kept me here. Now, I'm the creative director at sunrisestudios.na. I looked up. The man who had handed her the letter was smiling softly. "My name is Samuel Cho," he said, "and I want to offer you a role. Not because of your fame, but because you reminded me to stay." Anna's eyes filled with tears. "What's the role?" She whispered. Samuel handed her a small envelope with a script title, "The Girl Who Stayed Anna," and Keanu sat on the bench nearby as she began to read. The story followed a woman who had the chance to leave her small town for fame, fortune, and lights, but stayed to take care of her brother who had a disability. Over the years, the town changed around her. People moved on, but she remained steady, gentle, strong. The final scene showed her sitting on a porch, smiling quietly as her brother slept beside her. Both of them in rocking chairs. It was soft, it was simple, it was breathtaking. "I wrote it with you in mind," Samuel said. "Before the green dress, before the festival. Just from that moment years ago when you looked at me like I mattered." Anna wiped her cheek and nodded slowly. "I want to do this," she whispered. Keanu squeezed her hand gently, but Samuel added, "One thing you should know. We're producing this independently. No studio support. There's no big budget. We'll be shooting in one small town. No glam. No press." Anna smiled. "Perfect," she said. 1 month later, filming began in a sleepy town surrounded by fields and hills. There were no trailers, no stylists. Just a story and a small team of people who believed in it. Anna brought her own clothes for the role. On the third day of filming, she wore the green dress again. No one said anything until the director of photography walked up and said that color makes the screen warmer. Keanu visited often, helping quietly behind the scenes, making coffee, lifting boxes, holding lights. He never asked for credit. He never needed it. During one break, Anna sat alone on a porch swing. Looking out at the open land, Keanu joined her, handing her a slice of pie from a nearby bakery. "What are you thinking?" he asked. "I'm thinking this is what I wanted all along," she said. "Not the lights, not the parties, just truth." Keanu nodded. "And pie." He added. Anna laughed. The final scene was filmed under a soft sunset. Anna sat in the rocking chair beside the actor playing her brother, both of them wrapped in a shared blanket, watching fireflies dance in the fading light as the camera rolled. Something unexpected happened. A quiet breeze passed, and the green dress fluttered softly around her knees. The crew went still. There was magic in the air. When the scene ended, no one clapped. They just stood there, caught in the moment. "Cut," Samuel whispered, eyes wet. "We're done," he said softly. Anna stood up and hugged him tightly. "Thank you," she said, "for remembering." "Thank you," he replied, "for staying kind." After filming ended, Anna returned to the city with Keanu. The world outside hadn't changed. The headlines were still loud. The competition still fierce. But Anna was different now. She had become quiet fire. And then, something she didn't expect happened. A letter arrived. This time, the gold seal from the International Film Guild. They had chosen the girl who stayed as an official selection for the Venice Film Festival. Anna stared at the letter in disbelief. She called Samuel. "Did you send it in?" she asked. "I didn't," he said. "Someone else must have." Anna turned to Keanu, eyes wide. "Did you?" He shook his head. "Not me." But the envelope had one small card tucked inside. A handwritten note. For the girl who stayed. "The world is ready now." They traveled to Venice quietly. No big team, just Anna, Keanu, and a suitcase on the day of the premiere. Anna stood in front of the mirror in her hotel room. She took out the green dress one more time. It was a little more faded now, but still beautiful. She put it on and stepped into the hallway. Keanu stood there holding a small flower. "For your hair," he said. She smiled. "Will they laugh?" she asked gently. Keanu shook his head. "Not this time." As she walked the red carpet, the crowd went silent. It wasn't shock. It was respect. And this time, someone from the press whispered loudly into a microphone. "It's the same green dress, and it still feels like hope." Anna didn't cry. She smiled softly. And when the lights flashed, she didn't feel small. She felt infinite. But the biggest surprise was still waiting inside the theater. Because when the final scene played, the whole room stood up. And behind the curtain, a voice whispered into her ear, a voice she hadn't heard in years, and what that voice said would change everything again. The voice behind the curtaining theater in Venice was silent, lit only by the soft glow of the final scene. The audience remained standing, frozen in emotion. Many had tears in their eyes. Some held hands over their hearts. Something deep, something that had been sleeping in them for a long time. Anna stood just off stage, behind the curtain, breathing slowly. Then a soft voice came from behind her. "You wore it again?" Anna froze. That voice, it was soft, deep, familiar. She turned slowly. A woman stood there, older now, with silver in her hair and warm eyes. Anna blinked. "Miss Elena." She whispered, "Elena Valdez," her old drama teacher. The woman who had once told Anna she had a light no one could dim. The woman who vanished after Anna left Cuba. "How?" Anna asked, heart racing. Elena smiled and stepped closer. "I've been following your journey. Quietly, I saw the green dress in Berlin, and again in Hollywood. I knew you hadn't changed, not where it mattered." Anna's eyes filled with tears. "They said you moved. They said you were sick." "I was," Elena said softly. "But I healed, slowly, and I watched from a distance. I wanted to see if the girl I once believed in would survive the world." Anna looked down, overcome. "I almost didn't," she whispered. "I almost let the noise take me." Elena gently placed her hand over Anna's. "But you didn't, and now you've done something greater than fame. You've reminded people that stillness is not weakness, that kindness is not foolish." Anna hugged her tightly, her heart breaking and healing at the same time. "You changed my life," Anna whispered. "No," Elena replied. "You just remembered who you are." Later that night, after the premiere, Anna and Keanu sat beside a quiet canal. The water reflected the soft lights of Venice, and a musician played a slow tune nearby. Anna looked down at the green dress. It had small creases now, a loose thread near the hem. But it had never felt more beautiful. "She was my first teacher," Anna said. "She gave me a notebook and told me to write who I wanted to be in this world, not just what I wanted to become." "You write anything?" Keanu asked. "Just 2 words," Anna replied softly. "Stay kind." Keanu smiled. "You did," he said, even when no one was watching. Anna looked at him with quiet gratitude. "You helped me," she said. "More than anyone. You just needed someone to believe," he answered. "Sometimes I needed you to remind me too." They sat in silence for a while. Then Keanu reached into his jacket and pulled out something small, a folded piece of paper. "What's this?" Anna asked. "Something I kept," he said. "Day you wore the dress the first time." She opened it slowly. It was a photo. Someone had captured a candid moment on the red carpet in Berlin. Anna had been laughing, unaware of the camera, and Keanu had been standing behind her looking at her like she was made of light. "I never saw." "This," Anna whispered. "It reminded me," he said, "that sometimes the smallest moments carry the deepest truth." Anna held the photo close to her heart. Then she said softly, "I want to do something." 1 week later, Anna announced something that caught everyone off guard. She would auction the green dress, but not for fame, not for attention. Every penny would go to the school she and Keanu visited, the foster school on the edge of the city, and more than that. She would start a foundation. The Color of Kindness, a space for children, teens and young actors who felt invisible in a loud world, a place where quiet voices would be heard, where softness would be strength. The green dress was placed in a glass case at the center of the first event. A card beneath it read, "She wore it twice, but it carried her forever." On the night of the auction, as bids came in from around the world, Anna wore a simple white dress. No makeup, no designer shoes, and Keanu stood quietly beside her in his usual black before the bidding started. Keanu stepped up to the microphone. She looked at the crowd and took a deep breath. "People once said I was too soft for this world, too emotional, too fragile. But here's what they didn't know." She paused. "Every time I was told no, I found my yes. Every time I felt alone, someone showed up. Every time I doubted myself, I wore this dress." She pointed gently to the case. "It reminded me that my value isn't in what I wear, but in what I carry. And tonight, I hope this dress carries someone else. The crowd was quiet. Then someone stood and began to clap. Then another, and another soon. The whole room stood, but Anna's eyes found Keanu's. He didn't clap. He just gave a small nod. And she knew what that meant. You did it, later, after the event. They stood in the empty hall. Anna touched the glass case one last time. I feel like I'm saying goodbye to an old friend, she said. Maybe, Keanu replied. Or maybe you're sending her forward, Anna smiled. But then she added, I'm afraid of what? That I'll lose myself again. Keanu stepped closer. Then wear your soul like you wore that dress, he said.
Ow, with quiet.
Pride? Anna didn't say anything. She didn't need to, because deep inside her, something had changed, something unshakable, but she had no idea that one final moment was still waiting. A moment that would test everything she had built, a message. That would arrive the very next morning, a message with just 4 words and a name she hadn't heard in years. The name she almost forgot awoke early the next morning. The event hall from the night before was empty now. The dress had been shipped to the highest bidder, a quiet woman in France, who had survived cancer and said the green dress made her feel strong again. The foundation had already begun receiving letters, drawings, and small donations from people around the world. But as Anna made tea, her phone buzzed. A new message. It came from an unknown number. For words, she remembers you too. Attached was a name.rosaalvarez.ana. Dropped her phone. Her heart slammed in her chest. That name, she hadn't heard it in over 15 years. Rosa Alvarez had once been her best friend. They had met in Cuba, long before Hollywood. They used to share one pair of shoes between them. They'd take turns wearing it to class. They dreamed of making it big together, of escaping the noise of poverty, of shining on stage. But one day, Anna was chosen for a scholarship overseas. Rosa wasn't. And when Anna left, their contact faded. No goodbye, no closure, just silence. Anna had carried the guilt for years, buried under fame and roles and red carpets. But now, she was being remembered. Later that week, Anna traveled alone to a small town near Havana. She didn't bring press, didn't announce it online. She just wore simple clothes and carried one thing in her suitcase, a replica of the green dress. She found Rosa working at a community center, surrounded by children. Her hair was tied back, her hands covered in paint. It was helping a little. Girl traced stars on a mural. When she looked up and saw Anna, she froze. Anna walked slowly toward her. They didn't speak at first. Then Anna said softly, You remembered me. Rosa nodded, eyes full. You wore the dress, she whispered. Anna held out the replica in her hands. I brought this for you, she said, because you were the first person who ever told me green was my color. They both laughed through tears. I've missed you, Rosa said. I never stopped thinking about you, Anna replied. They hugged, and in that embrace, all the years melted away, all the guilt, all the silence. It was just 2 girls again. Sharing dreams, Anna stayed in the town for 3 days. She played with the children, painted walls, cooked rice in big pots, slept under a fan in a small shared room. No cameras, no lights, just real life. Before leaving, she sat with Rosa under a tree. How did you find me? Anna asked. I didn't, Rosa smiled. The green dress did. Anna laughed gently. You changed lives, Rosa said, and you never had to raise your voice to do it. Anna looked at the sky. It's strange, she said. I spent so long thinking I had to be louder, sharper, more like everyone else. And instead, Rosa said, you reminded us how powerful softness is. Anna returned home and found Keanu waiting outside her building, leaning against the wall with his usual calm. You went alone? He asked. I had to, she said. How was it? Anna smiled, like waking up. They went upstairs, sat on the balcony, shared a quiet meal. No, these words were needed. They both knew this was the end of one story, and the beginning of another. Months later, the girl who stayed received 3 major awards. Anna gave no speeches, she asked Keanu to speak for her instead. On the stage, he said, she wore the same dress twice. Not because she didn't have options, because she had courage. And now that courage belongs to everyone who sees her. Kindness isn't weakness. It's the loudest voice that never needs to shout. Anna stood in the back, tears on her cheeks, heart full. Not from applause, but from knowing. She never had to become anyone else to be loved. She had stayed herself, and that was enough. Years later, the green dress would be displayed in a museum. Beside it, a plaque would read, "She wore it twice and changed the world once."